Last video we have discussed till the step where fructose 6-phosphate was being converted to fructose 1,6-bisphosphate by hexokinase. After being converted to fructose 1,6-bisphosphate, the fructose 1,6-bisphosphate is converted into two new compounds. One is dihydroxyacetone phosphate, which is also known as DHAP, dihydroxyacetone phosphate, DHAP, or glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate, GAP. These two compounds are formed from the total amount of fructose bisphosphate produced. Okay, among these two, dihydroxyacetone phosphate can be converted to glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate according to need. If body needs more glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate, then this amount of DHAP can be converted to GAP. Otherwise, the GAP is converted to 1,3-diphosphoglyceric acid. Glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate, from the name we can clearly understand that it is having an aldehyde group. That means it is having a CHO group. It is having one aldehyde group. But the new compound which is being formed is diphosphoglyceric acid. It was having phosphate at 3 position, 3-phosphate. But this compound is having another phosphate at first position. Okay, so it is having another phosphate at third position, and it is not having aldehyde group, rather it is having oic acid group. That means dehydrogenation, aldehyde can be converted to oic acid when dehydrogenation takes place. That means here dehydrogenation has taken place. If dehydrogenation has taken place, naturally the name of the enzyme involved in this step is dehydrogenase, without any doubt. So the name of the enzyme involved in this step is dehydrogenase. And whenever there is dehydrogenation, that means removal of hydrogen. So what I have said, when anything will be removed from a structure, there will be some compound to receive it. When hydrogen will be removed from glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate and 1,3-diphosphoglyceric acid will be produced by removal of hydrogen, that hydrogen will be received by someone. Whenever dehydrogenase works, the most common coenzyme which works in cooperation with dehydrogenase is NADH, because whenever dehydrogenase works, it releases hydrogen that needs to be received by someone, and that receiver, the most common receiver we will see in all the metabolic cycles we will come across in your syllabus. You have there, you will see NAD is the most common receiver and NADH is the most common donor of hydrogen. When hydrogen is released and someone need to accept that, then NAD plus is the ion or the coenzyme which comes and receives that hydrogen. It receives 2 hydrogen, that is why it becomes NADH. When 1 hydrogen is received, its positive charge is neutralized, but the extra hydrogen which it is having is written in this manner because it is in a positive charge form. Okay, so NAD is the receiver for hydrogen. If opposite will happen, oic acid will be converted to aldehyde. That means when addition of hydrogen will be there, then NADH plus H plus will come to donate the hydrogen. So that is the basic pattern of these enzymes and coenzymes to conduct the metabolic cycle. The next thing we need to focus on is, it was having phosphate on third position, now it is having phosphate on 1 and third position. How it is having phosphate on 2 positions? That means a phosphate has been added. Usually the phosphate donor we have seen till now is ATP, but here as kinase is not working, the phosphate donor will not be ATP. What I have said in the beginning, whenever there is requirement of addition of phosphate, then either ATP donates the phosphate or inorganic phosphate comes and incorporates itself into the structure. Here as kinase is not working, ATP will not donate the phosphate. So here inorganic phosphate, that means PI. Here inorganic phosphate will come and will associate or include itself in the structure as it has done. PI has come and has included itself on the first carbon. So that is a 1,3-diphosphoglyceric acid has been formed. The next step that occurs is 1,3-diphosphoglyceric acid. 1,3-diphosphoglyceric acid is converted to 3-phosphoglyceric acid. 1,3-diphosphoglyceric acid has been converted to 3-phosphoglyceric acid. That means again it was like that. At one first position phosphate was added, again from first position phosphate has been removed. Then what is the point? Basically it was aldehyde. Having phosphate on the third position, it was aldehyde, but it is a oic acid having phosphate in the third position. So 3-phosphoglyceric acid will be formed, and the active enzyme or the controlling enzyme will be dephosphorylase. Why dephosphorylase? From this, if we concentrate on this structure and this structure, what we can see, removal of one phosphate is there. Removal means D means removal. So dephosphorylation means removal of phosphate. Has the removal of phosphate has occurred, so the enzyme here work is dephosphorylase. Dephosphorylase has removed one phosphate from this structure. But the point is, as we have discussed, for donating phosphate we need a donor. Similarly, for receiving phosphate we need a receiver. Otherwise the phosphate is removed in the form of inorganic phosphate. Here the receiver of phosphate is another most common phosphate receiver, that is ADP. Like ATP is the most common donor, ADP is the most common receiver. ATP will come and will receive the phosphate and will be converted to ATP. Diphosphate it was, by receiving one phosphate it will become triphosphate, adenosine triphosphate. So ATP will be produced, and as a result 3-phosphoglyceric acid will be formed. So before I move to the next step, I will focus on the board what I have written the steps, so that you can note it down. I am focusing on what I have written on the board. The next step we will discuss about is what is the last compound we have received. The last compound we have received is 3-phosphoglyceric acid. Now this 3-phosphoglyceric acid will be converted to 2-phosphoglyceric acid. What we can see, that phosphoglyceric acid is common. That means the compound structure, basic structure of the compound is same. Only the position of phosphate has been changed. From 3 it has been moved to 2. That means only change of position of phosphate. Same thing we have done earlier also, where from 1 the phosphate was shifted to 6, or from 6 it was shifted to 1. What we have learned then, when there is only change of position of phosphate or such group, only position change and rest of the structure is same, that is considered as mutation. And as this is mutation, so the enzyme which will work here will be mutase. As the name of the compound is phosphoglyceric acid, that is why phosphoglycerol, and the group of enzyme is mutase. So phosphoglyceromutase. When phosphoglyceromutase work, the cofactor it involves is Mn2+, that means Mn manganese plus, and 2-phosphoglyceric acid is further converted to 2-phosphoenol pyruvic acid. If you concentrate on the name, we can clearly see that this compound was not having enol group in it. Phosphoglyceric acid, there is no enol group in it. But the new compound formed is having enol group in it, phosphoenol. So enol group has been incorporated. Whenever enol group is incorporated, the enzyme which works there is enolase. So the working enzyme is enolase. When enolase works, it usually involves incorporation of water. So water has been incorporated. That is why enol group could be added. So the new formed compound is phosphoenol pyruvic acid. Okay, we will move to the next step now. Okay, so the next step we will discuss about is, last step what we have seen, that 2-phosphoenol pyruvic acid has been produced by the influence of enolase. Here 2-phosphoenol pyruvic acid will be converted to enol pyruvic acid, and this is a irreversible reaction. This is a irreversible reaction where 2-phosphoenol pyruvic acid is being converted to enol pyruvic acid. It does not basically when this is done, it cannot be reversed anymore. That means from enol pyruvic acid we cannot get 2-phosphoenol pyruvic acid ever. So this is one irreversible step. It cannot be turned back. And here if we concentrate on the name, we can see that 2-phosphoenol pyruvic acid has become enol pyruvic acid. Simply the phosphate has been removed from the second position and rest of the structure has been kept same as that. So for removal of phosphate, here exceptionally kinase has been used for removal of phosphate. What we have learnt till now is that phosphate is usually used for addition of phosphate. Here kinase is usually used for addition of phosphate. Here pyruvate kinase as exception works, and it controls removal of phosphate from second position. It removes the phosphate from second position and produces enol pyruvic acid. Enol pyruvic acid is converted to ketopyruvic acid. That means enol group is removed and keto group is added. But this does not need involvement of any enzyme. It occurs spontaneously without the influence of any enzyme. So that is how enol pyruvic acid is converted to ketopyruvic acid. Ketopyruvic acid is the end product of glycolysis. Hope you can see what I have written on the board. I will move to the next step. Then I will move into the next step now. That is the last. This is the last step of glycolysis. Rather, it is not a mandatory step of glycolysis. What happens? We have learned that in glycolysis, pyruvic acid is formed and few molecules of ATP is produced. But in case if the muscle is lacking oxygen, then the cell is not able to convert the entire intermediates into entire pyruvic acid into ATP production. So if the cell is lacking oxygen, then the cell is not able to convert or utilize entire ATP for production of entire pyruvic acid for production of ATP. In such cases, in absence of oxygen, instead of the further conversion, fermentation takes place or anaerobic respiration takes place, and the ketopyruvic acid is then converted to lactic acid as a result of anaerobic respiration. As anaerobic respiration produces such products, and here what happens? Dehydrogenation occurs. So dehydrogenase will work, and when ketopyruvic acid will be converted to lactic acid, basically from the structure few hydrogens will be removed. That is why when in this direction the reaction is occurring, hydrogen is being removed and those hydrogens are being received by NAD+. That is why NAD+ is being converted to NADH plus H+. But when the opposite thing is happening, again the muscle is receiving oxygen supply, then it is again performing aerobic respiration. When it will again perform aerobic respiration, then lactic acid will again be converted to ketopyruvic acid. In such condition, here from the structure hydrogen was removed. That is why it needed to receive from. But when lactic acid will be converted to ketopyruvic acid, it will receive. Then it will. It will receive hydrogen from outside. That means it will be NADH plus H plus. The NADH plus H plus will donate the hydrogen to lactic acid, and by receiving those hydrogen, lactic acid will be converted to ketopyruvic acid. And when NADH plus H plus will donate the hydrogen, it will become NAD plus. So this is the last step of pyruvic acid reaction, that means glycolysis. But this occurs only if when there is lack of oxygen, and again it is a reversible reaction, because whenever the cell again will be having enough oxygen, then this stock of lactic acid will be converted to pyruvic acid, so that again it can be used for production of energy. So this is the entire glycolysis process. Before I conclude, I just want to you to focus on what I have written on the book. So here we have discussed about a significant metabolic pathway for production of energy. It will further lead to Krebs cycle, and we will read about Krebs cycle next. But this is one of the significant metabolic cycle, and the advantage in case of glycolysis is you can remember the names of the enzymes and the involving other cofactors coenzyme with logic. You don't need to memorize. We will the next metabolic cycle we will discuss about is Krebs cycle. Thank you.